Hello everyone. It's nice to be in this panel. I think obviously if you're looking for quick results, you cannot, get all those things directly from organic. You need to start obviously your paid activities to see. And again, I think it depends upon the journey of the, brand and journey of that company. Generally, when you are doing your 0 to 1, right, you are looking for, a lot of, quick results to prove your business, just to look for the right product market fit and all those things, right? And then obviously if you're starting with organic, the results will take a lot of time. So paid will always help, but I would just say one thing, that don't ignore organic from the beginning itself. Put all the important elements that you need to grow your organic channels from day one itself. I've seen a lot of business, making this mistakes, right? That they just focus on some quick things, either getting leads from the website, just building a landing page, ignoring all the, elements to, rank on the SEO front, right? Getting that organic lead. So don't ignore it. Eventually, it will definitely help when you will do your 1 to 10, when you will be in a journey of 10 to 100, right? That organic will definitely play an important role. Again, right? The equation also changes, right, when you grow. So let's say when you're very early in your business, the contribution of the leads will be, let's say, paid versus organic will be 90-10, right? But as soon as you have started growing, right, in a mature business, I have seen roughly around 40-60 or 50-50 kind of a ratio as well. So I think don't ignore that. That is just my one liner on the organic versus paid. For early wins, obviously you have to depend on paid, but organic will definitely help in the long run, because it's a very cheap, way of getting high quality leads.
Makes sense. One coming from the experience itself, a challenge I've always faced, although people do realize on a long-term effort they need to do organic, but somewhere I have personally in my professional career journey have noticed and realized it. That's very hard to convince the management to put a long-term capital investment on building that content, on building that long-term overhaul organic strategy. Uh, they tend to do it for a certain period of time, probably 6 months or by max 1 year. And usually I've noticed that business tend to give up. Apparently, it's a way longer journey. Uh, Garima, Sandesh, your thoughts, Kunal, your thoughts on this?
Garima, would you like to go first?
Yeah, I think I agree with what Nikhil is saying. It totally depends on what business one is in and what are the kind of budgets that are apportioned for starting paid. If you're from an industry where there are benchmarks that you could look at, and if you're going for a paid marketing, if there is a media agency on board, you could easily go for some benchmarks that are set, and you could look at how some paid campaigns in the market have performed for them, for those brands. That kind of gives some kind of proof of concept. And if you don't have, then you have to have your own proof of concept. For doing that, maybe we should start with a slow burn, understand what our brand is all about, understand our TG, the persona. And based on that, we see how do we engage with the consumers. How is it that we can, if you're looking for a quick result, if it is from the point of view of building brand salience, you'll have to see. If it is from awareness point of view, you could run a awareness building display campaign that could be paid first, and later on you can add on to the performance part of it. So I think there's a mix, one has to look at. There could be some basic A/B testing that one could do. Again, it goes from business to business. So this is a very, very subjective question. And based on the scale at which a brand would want to run such campaigns, one would have to, like deep dive, chalk out a brief, and then plan it accordingly. What do you think, Kunal?
Thanks. I mean, I agree with almost everything that both of you said. I think let's just step back a little and kind of break it up into two major blocks. One from the point of view of the business, one from the point of view of the customer.
Yeah.
Let's say from the point of view of the business, we have to do business and say, okay, are we there for the short run? Are we there for the long run? Okay. And from the point of a customer, let's look at two buying behaviors. One is an impulse buy and one is a considered buy. Impulse buy is something that, I feel, I just want to buy, like, let's say buying a toffee or a headphone. It's quite like an impulse buy when you're buying a cell phone. A considered buy will be much big ticket items. Now, let's pick up the customer first and then we move to the brand. When we're looking at the customer, if it's if it's an impulse buy, it's what the brand is all about plays very little in that, because it's an impulse buy. It's like I'm scrolling through Instagram and suddenly I see an ad for these headphones which are about 299. I like the design. I know for a fact that they might not last long. They're not a Sony or a Jabra, but they look good. And for the time being, I could probably have fun with them. So there, the performance marketing angle plays a huge part. Brand, not so much. But the moment I get into a considered buy, a big ticket item, anything that ranges from white goods or vehicles or anything else that costs, let's say, about 5,000 and above, then the brand plays a huge part in that, because that brand is coming with a background of tried and tested reviews. It's coming from somewhere in your heart, that there is a sense of quality that is inherent with that. From a brand's perspective, again, we need to look at it whether they're there for the long burn or the short burn. So now, when I combine all of those, I see organic as a continuous process, or a brand building as a continuous process, whereas paid can be used in spurts, as and when the business requires. And until and unless we make sure that both of the fires are burning, in the long run, the brand will always fall, because then it'll just be a fly by the night kind of a brand. Yeah.
Makes sense. Very, very logical, Kunal.
Yeah.
In fact, I would love to get another viewpoint from all three of you, and this is particularly for young marketers. I speak to a lot of young candidates whom I meet, and they want to make a career in digital marketing. And when you ask them SEO, it's purely what you'll. So I would say 6 years back, when you'll ask somebody what is SEO, they'll say search engine optimization. These days they'll say, oh, I need to create good quality content. Okay. I remember the times, and even till today, I've got my Google alert set in on updates with Google search engines, what's happening on Meta side. But any tips for young marketeers to be upbeat and to have the knack of being a great marketeer on an organic side with SEO? Any specific tools or recommendations that you want to give to these guys?
Look, what I generally talk to my team as well is to change the way they think. If, for example, let's say I'm in fintech right now. If I'm working with a fintech brand, I am not competing just with fintechs. I'm competing with all the apps that are there in somebody's phone. Right. So one is to change the perspective, change the fact how you look at your business. You cannot say that, okay, I'm a fintech, all I'm competing with are fintechs, and that's how I'm gonna, start marketing myself, because it won't happen. Because, there's this data point which says we are bombarded with some 60,000 ads a day, different products. One of the way is to expand your horizon and start looking at competition, not just from a perspective of a particular stream, but from a much larger perspective. The second is, of course, SEO. Every digital marketer, you need to understand that there is a sword that's always hanging on your head. So for every 1 rupee that your management gives you, like 1.2, 1.5 rupees of value back, right? The only way you can reduce that, and let's say for discussions, let me call it CAC, right? The only way that you can reduce CAC is if steadily your organic grows and people start searching for your brand rather than you pushing it down their throat. So therefore, as a marketer, never lose focus of who you are as a brand and who you're talking to as a customer, because that will not only shape your digital marketing, but it'll also optimize it much better in the future than what it is right now.
Makes sense. Very valid point.
Yeah, I would just like to add what Kunal has said. I think completely agreeing on those points. Just one more thing, that when you're thinking about a brand, right, you also need to create that entire, holistic view. So say you're in healthcare, if you talk about your brand only, right, and you're not creating content which is related to your brand, that is also a little difficult, right, for your creating your positioning in the market. So that's why I think organic comes in play. And just one more thing, I agree. I think Nikhil, what you're saying, right, a lot of times people, I think, confuses SEO just with the content creation and backlinking, but it is more than that, right? You need to think holistically. You need to build that content in a way that it should give you a proper yield with respect to the outcomes. So think holistically. Just don't focus that okay, I built these many backlinks. My keywords are ranking in top. This is not SEO is, right? So ultimately, if you're able to crack a proper strategy, see a long-term results with organic.